Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sabrina. I'm so excited to have you here. Today I'm going to be doing my recent reads episode 2. So I've just kind of been aggressively reading since I've been off on leave for my broken arm. So I have read so many books and I'm so excited to share the next episode of recent reads with you. I just love doing recent reads because I get to go more in depth of the books I read and why I like them versus in monthly wrap-ups. You read so many books and you don't want your video to be 3 hours long. So I love doing recent reads. I think it's so much fun versus the monthly wrap-ups, and I can just really go in depth on the books I read. So here are some books that I've read throughout the month of October and November. Definitely have been some really good reads, and I'm so glad that I was able to read them. Now before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you comment down below and tell me what books you have read recently. Make sure you hit that little bell notification next to the subscribe button. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, all bookish videos, and all December long we are going to be posting Christmassy videos, which is super nice. We have the tree set up, and we also have a stocking back there and some Christmas houses, and I'm just so excited to be able to share this with you guys, and I love it. I love it. And also make sure you guys follow me on my socials. I have them all in the description bar down below, but you can also head over to my channel and you can click them there. So without further ado, let's just get started. So the first book I have is The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. This book is about a girl who decides to go work at this motel because her aunt went missing from there in the 80s. So she decides she needs to know what happened. She decides to pack up her bags in Indiana and move to this little town and also decides to get a job at the motel where her aunt went missing. Talk about creepy, right? So this book is filled with twists and turns, and I absolutely loved it. It was a mystery thriller all mixed in together like a birthday cake. I loved it. Something I really like about mystery novels lately and books that I have been leaning towards have been books in dual perspective. I read Home Before Dark and I've gushed about it, and it is written in dual perspective. This book is written in dual perspective as well. So we're following Viv, who is the aunt that goes missing, up until the day she goes missing, and we find her story, not just what happened the day she went missing, but also her life before and why she was so freaked out about the Sundown Motel. And then we follow Carly, who is the niece. We follow her from the moment she moves to this little town all the way to where she finds out what happened to her aunt. This book is amazing. Definitely filled with a lot of twists, turns, jumbles, somersaults. I loved it. It definitely kept me reading, and then I also really enjoyed how they made the descriptions of the paranormal activity that goes on at the Sundown Motel. Now, it doesn't really make a huge impact in the book of the paranormal aspect, but it definitely gives a creepy vibe. Now, I rated this book a 5 out of 5. It was definitely a crime thriller, which is actually a genre I'm really enjoying. It was definitely amazing. I loved it. I just will gush about this book almost as much as I gushed about Home Before Dark. The next book I read was Something to Talk About by Mara Weisler. So I loved this book. So if you guys have been on this channel for a hot minute, you know that I went through a stage where all I read was LGBTQ romance. And literally everything I read for a good 3 months was LGBTQ romance. I was on a roll. I loved it. No complaints at all. So this book follows Jo, and Jo is a big Hollywood star. She started off as a child actress and she has moved her way onto writing big shows. So now she has an assistant, and her assistant follows her everywhere. They go visit shooting locations together, they work together, they literally work in the same room pretty much. Jo decides she really doesn't want to go to this award show alone because she's sick and tired of these people who don't even like her talking to her. So she's like, you know what, I'm gonna ask Emma because I really like Emma's company. She gets Emma all dressed up, all dizzle dazzled. They split the jewelry and she goes to the award show. Well, Paparazzi misread their giggles on the red carpet and they are deemed a couple. So Emma and Joe are trying to shoot down these rumors. They really don't want it to affect their working relationship, but lo and behold, it does. Joe admits to Emma she is gay, and Emma admits to Joe that she is gay as well, and obviously starts this little fling. So something I really enjoyed about this book was it was a slow burn. When I say it was a slow burn, I mean nothing until the last 30 pages. Yes, bish. I love slow burn romance like that. Honestly, one of my favorite genres is slow burn romance, because something I really enjoyed about this book was you get to see what Joe is thinking about Emma, and then the next chapter what Emma is thinking about Joe. I really enjoyed how they had that build up versus just diving right into it. Now, something that did trip me up a little bit about this book was each chapter was written in a point of view. So it would start off with the name of the character, but it was written in third person, so it was kind of wishy-washy at times and could get a little bit confusing. But other than that, I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the slow burn aspect, and I really enjoyed the character development. It was definitely something that I love, is finding yourself, being true to yourself, and being honest with who you are and not being ashamed of it. And that was definitely something that Emma and Joe were still struggling with, especially being in the public eye. So I rated this book a 5 out of 5. I loved the slow burn romance, loved the characters, just loved everything about it. Ain't got no complaints. The next book I read this month was Coraline by Neil Gaiman. So this is actually a required reading for one of my college classes, so I decided to just dig right into it in October. So this book follows Coraline, and Coraline is a 12-year-old little girl who moves in with her parents in this apartment, and she's surrounded by very strange individuals. The man upstairs trains circus mice, the ladies downstairs used to be actresses, and she's kind of very disregarded by her parents, and her parents are like, just go play, Coraline, leave me alone. So Coraline does just that. And one day her dad says, you know what, Coraline, leave me alone, go count all the doors and the windows of the house. So Coraline does. She finds a mysterious door that doesn't open, and one night it opens. What? And there's a lady with button eyes who wants her to come live with her, and I hate this book. I hated the movie, I hated the book. I'm not a fan of scary things like that. Listen, if I were to open a door in my home and a lady with button eyes popped out and said, I'm your other mother, I would have said deuces and went right back through that hole and left and never came back. That's it. That's all I have to say. Now, even though this book gave me the heebie-jeebies, I did rate it a 5 out of 5. I think it's such a cute middle grade story. It's definitely a classic. Neil Gaiman has amazing artistic abilities when it comes to literature. I love Neil Gaiman. I think he's a fantastic author, so I couldn't complain, and I did give it a 5 out of 5. The next book I read this month was If You Tell, A True Story of Murder, Family Secrets, and the Unbreakable Bond Between Sisters by Greg Olson. So this book follows the abuse and the harassment and just the murders that their parents plotted against these 3 children. So we are following these 3 kids as they are suffering through their mother's abuse. They are witnessing 2 murders, and they are just trying to keep quiet, but one day they decide to come out and try to get their mom for all the horrible things they've done. Now, don't get me wrong, I've read a lot of child abuse memoirs in my day, especially when my degree was child development. That was definitely a big reading on my part, but since I've switched out from child development, I haven't been reading a lot, so this is the first child abuse story I've read in a hot minute. Something I really did like about the book was how the kids did get justice at the end, and that's something that I really enjoy because there are way too many stories where kids don't get their justice. Something I hated about this book though was the writing was very bland. And when I say that, it was just kind of a this happened, this is the ending. There was no kind of like build up or nothing like that, because even in most of the memoirs, we start with a good childhood or a mediocre childhood, and then we build up to that end point where we get our justice. They didn't really do that in this book, which kind of, I didn't like it. But yeah, I wasn't mad about it. I liked the story. I just didn't like the writing. But that did not ruin it for me. I still give it a 5 out of 5 because I felt like these women did get what they needed out of this book. I think they got what they needed from their childhood, and I also think they were able to get the answers they needed, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was such a heartwarming story. The next 2 books I read were mangas. They were Sign of Affection #1 and #2 by Sue Morishita. I'm really hoping I'm saying that correctly. If not, please someone comment down below and let me know. I'm horrible with names. So I'm not a huge manga reader. I haven't read a lot of manga. If you guys have any good manga recommendations, comment down below and let me know, please, because they would be very much appreciated. So this book is about a girl who is deaf and she uses sign language, and the boy that likes her is learning sign language. And I'm really enjoying this because it combines manga with sign language and deafness, and I'm really enjoying that. I think it's a really good mixture. I think it's a really good thing to do because we do not see a lot of deaf and blind characters in books, so that's something that I really like. But I really did enjoy these stories. I think they were super good. I rated both of them a 5 out of 5. No complaints. Loved them a lot. The next book I read was Twilight, the graphic novel by Stephanie Meyer and Young Kim. So this book is Twilight, but graphic novel. Honestly, I picked this book up for the drawings. No other reason other than I wanted to look at the drawings. So that doesn't tell you anything about me. Well, it should. So basically I barely even read this book. I kind of skimmed it, looked at it for the pictures. I guess I probably shouldn't even be including this on my recent reads, but I am anyway. Yeah, ever since I reread Twilight, I haven't been able to see the hype with it because Twilight's really bad. That was a 2 out of 3, 2 out of 5 stars. I rated that a 2 out of 5 stars. So the next book I read was Boxes in the Basement, The Inn at Holiday Bay #1 by Kathy Daly. So this book is a cozy mystery, and I've really been into cozy mysteries, and she literally has like 12 of these about the inn, so all right, girl. This book is about Abby, and Abby suffered a major loss where she lost her infant son and her husband in a horrific car accident. So she decides to pack up everything and move across the country to Maryland. Maryland! Maryland. Oh my gosh, who am I? She packs up her bags and moves to Maryland, and she actually buys this really big hotel in mansion, and she's renovating it, and she finds some boxes in the basement that has some girls' stuff inside of it. So she decides, after she learns that these girls are missing, to go to the police. And it's just this little cozy mystery. I really enjoyed it. I really like cozy mysteries. I decided that's a genre that I really do enjoy a lot. It's definitely a quick read. You can fly right through it. It was free on Amazon Prime, which, chef's kiss, okay. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a whole lot of fun, and I'm not mad that I read it. I rated this one a 4 out of 5 just because that ending tripped me up. I really didn't like the ending. I thought it could have been a little more suspenseful, a little more mystery. But you know what? I know it's not, my tastes are not for everyone, so I'm not too angry. And the very last book I read was A Very Bossy Christmas by Kaylee Loring. So I love these stupid romance books that are like over the top romance with like half naked men on the cover. That's all I have to say. That's it. So this book is about a girl who falls in love with her boss, and her boss thinks she's a sweet young thing, and what? And he decides to ask her if she could be his fake girlfriend to go home for Thanksgiving, because he's sick and freaking tired of going home for Thanksgiving by himself. So she's like, sure dude, why not? And she goes with him, and of course they end up falling for each other, but they don't want to be with each other because that's her boss. She can't be with her boss. And honestly, it's just a whole lot of issue. Now, I liked this book, and I'm normally not a smutty reader, but there were some scenes in this book. So I actually read this book on one of my live streams, and whew, it was steamy. But I really enjoyed this book, except I hate when authors at the end of the book are like, oh, proposal, epilogue. I hate that. I hate it. I don't know why authors feel like they need to throw a proposal in the end, like, here you go. I didn't want that. I didn't need that. You know what I needed? I needed to be continued, and then just never write a second book or something like that. I didn't need that proposal, and I didn't need that epilogue from 10 years later. That's it. That's all I got. Now, I was gonna rate this book a 5 out of 5, but that last 10 pages ruined it for me. I was so mad about it, to be honest, because I could not stand when authors do that. I didn't need that. I didn't need it. Nobody wanted it. Why'd you have to do that, Miss Loring? Now that I'm hot and bothered about a very bossy Christmas again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books or if any of these books seem interesting. Make sure you leave a like down below and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And make sure you click that little bell notification to get notified every time I upload. And that's all I got. I hope you guys are having a super great week, a super great month, a super great life, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!